life, and it is time for some poetry and yapping with your favorite tóxica. I don't know why I call myself that. I don't think I'm really toxic, but it is nice. Okay, I can be toxic sometimes, and that does come out in the poetry, so maybe that. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna start off with a poem from 2022, and this is just a short little thing. I don't even know if I could call this more of a poem than a beginning of something. Pluto. I felt insignificant like the planet Pluto when I work at a snail's pace. Perhaps I need to eat more apples for energy. Okay, that was cute. Okay. Oh, we're not going to that. Okay, so I'm gonna read from 2024. And this is from that poetry book, prompt book that I have where I put little quotes in there. And I don't remember what I named this poem, but it is about fujimori. So, I don't remember. Fujimori's legacy. That's what this is about. This poem is called Fujimori's Legacy. Thousands of indigenous children never made, never born. Fujimori's presumptuous superiority policies caused this inhumanity, this crime against the most marginalized, the poorest, robbing thousands of women of their right to procreate, a shameful part of Peru's history. Thousands of indigenous children mourn who were never planted, never had a chance to bloom. Perhaps their existence was a threat to those in power, full of corruption. Now we'll never know. I think I remember in college learning about how poor indigenous women in Peru during Fujimori's regime, they were sterilized without their consent. And it made me really angry that such a thing could happen. And this happened in the 90s. It wasn't even like the 70s or 60s or whatever. And it could go on in my lifetime. And I don't know, I feel like nobody has a right to tell another person, especially government, to hold autonomy over their bodies. No, especially like women. It's such a, yeah, as you can tell, I am very much a feminist. So, yeah, now we'll move on to more poems before I get on that rant. Okay. This one is untitled. It's untitled. Throwing you across my cubicle and room more times than I care to remember. A text, a post, an email, Google memories on your screen triggers the crazy bitch in me. Surprisingly, I've never broken you but lost you one time. At the same time, you hold my beloved playlist I dissociate to, my treasure of Google Docs full of poems, prompts, and stories, and pictures of everything I find interesting and important in this world. Oh, my phone, you're both my hell and heaven, my dangerous zone and my sanctuary. You represent the worst and the best in this modern society. I have ambivalent feelings about my phone because on one hand it's brought me community and creativity and connection, and the other hand I feel like sometimes I am so attached to it. It's crazy, and I take breaks from it, and I just hate how accessible it makes you to everyone. I miss the days when you had to pick up the phone on this corded line, and then like you could talk to somebody for 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever, and if that person made you mad or whatever, you could just hang up and it had like a dramatic effect. Nowadays, it's not like that. It's just, and people can get you like they have just so much access to you. I hate it. And then if you're the one trying to say something to somebody and you make a quick response, you see that they've read the message and then you get so triggered because they're not responding. But I've learned to deal with the latter, where I don't get triggered anymore. If somebody doesn't respond to me for days or weeks, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It is what it is. I have like a whole full life to lead. But then I also like try to respond as fast as I can, but sometimes I can't because I'm just busy, or I'm just awkward, honestly. Okay, let's go to more poems. And this is called Identity. Political unrest here, political unrest there, political unrest everywhere. First world problems, third world problems, keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with the Mendes. La misma cochinada, la misma porquería aquí y allá. America and Peru gets mixed up in my head. It becomes a giant blur. Un garabateo en mi cabeza. Sometimes I don't know when the Peruana in me or the American in me begins and exists. I actually like that poem. I'm gonna have to make a few edits to it, but I really like that poem. And the next one we are not gonna read. It's called Hesitant. That's all I will say. And this is just a little saying I had for myself. Crossroads. At a crossroads, I sit still and silently, observing everything, pondering what's best for me. Okay. And this one is called Sun. The universe pulls and tugs at me, and I get distracted by the sun. Hard not to get caught up in the sunshine that feels like the warmest of hugs. But the universe pulls and tugs at me almost violently, says, this is the way forward. Don't get caught up in the heat of the moment. There's so much more to live and experience. I like that one too. I'm gonna have to edit it though. Okay, and this one is called Hostage. Held you hostage as long as I could, afraid of growth, potential, to be alone. Held you at gunpoint, afraid of the woman I could become. Actually, that was for tomorrow, but we just read it. We'll read it again tomorrow. Okay, and did we already read? Okay, so we read this. We'll read from last year. Let me see if I have something. I think I have something on the other side of this. So today, exactly a year ago, I was in Hendershots for an open mic, waiting for an open mic, and also I had made a date with somebody like an hour beforehand, and he never showed up, and I never knew why until the next day, and it sucked. But I was waiting there looking stupid, and I wrote a few poems about that. So this is, some of these might be influenced, might be influenced by that. Okay. This one is untitled. This is a last call for lost souls. The souls who've lost the will to live. The souls who can't seem to find any bit of hope. They're somewhere in the purgatory between heaven and hell, not understanding how they got there. I remember writing this at Hendershots when I was pissed. Oh, okay. There's another one I wrote at Hendershots. I should stand up more often. No, I'm just kidding. Fire. Angel caught on fire after one too many margaritas. Live streams her grievances out loud. So tired of following the rules and conventions placed on her since she was born. Sick of the modern world, just ready to crash out. Doesn't care who she hurts. I think it's very, I don't know if it was meta, but it's something to be reading this poem on a live stream. Because the poetry I read feels like grievances I am saying out loud. Okay, let's see. Okay, this other poem. Okay. It was NaPoWriMo Untitled, so we will read this. Is it wrong for me to say I miss what we had? Is it wrong for me to say I would take the last drunken goodbye text I sent you last fall back? And how lately the most nostalgia of you follows me around everywhere I go, from that Julia Michaels song I had on repeat in 2018 when we first met, to that poem I wrote about you last year that came up of my memories. And perhaps it's me holding onto the past and idealizing it out of our deep-seated fear of starting over again. But we had something special, didn't we? Because even in the worst of our times, I found the inspiration to keep the muse cup going. And in the best of times, I found the determination to become a better person. And while I know it was for the best to separate, since we wanted different things and we were awful together, I'm still going to confess that out of all of my love stories, you were one of my favorites. I read this on YouTube last year for NaPoWriMo. It's a very honest poem. Sometimes you just feel what you feel. And this other one I'm not gonna read. It's called Waiting. And this other one I'm not gonna read, but it involves something about a cottage court dress. Cottage court dress, whatever that is. But no, we're not gonna read that one. This is day 9 on Hinge, and this was like my very angry poem about that guy that stood me up. Adam, if you're out there and you see this, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not, because you should have communicated way better. Okay, day 9 on Hinge. Couldn't bother to text whether or not you were coming, so I sat there looking stupid, staring at my phone and waiting, almost with this disgust with myself. With the woman, I'm becoming yet again. My friend tells me to calm down and that you're not the end-all of all to my lack of romance problems. Let me try this again. Oh, okay, let's try this again. Day 9 on Hinge. Couldn't bother to text whether or not you were coming, so I sat there looking stupid, staring at my phone and waiting, almost disgusted with myself. With the woman, I was becoming yet again. My friend tells me to calm down and that you're not the end-all to the romance I'm looking for. And there are plenty of fish from Hinge to pick. And maybe I should calm down and listen to her. But damn, once my rejection wound is triggered, I can't contain it and the angry poetry that runs from it. Well, and this was reading 100 shots when I was waiting for that person. It's a very honest poem. I think I should listen to my gut more often about what's like, if I'm forcing myself to do something, and if something is not working out, then I should just like, I don't know, like stop. I think that sometimes I do things because I feel this pressure that I gotta do this to be normal. I gotta do this because this is what is expected of me. I gotta do this because, you know, my life wouldn't be complete without this thing. But it's just really stupid thinking. I think I really have to look for the joy and for ways to evolve. And some things are just not worth it, honestly. I wouldn't say why I'm so big about this, but it's just, I think I'm learning this, like the older I get, the more I'm learning to use discernment in my choices. So, okay, that was a lot. Anyways, thank you all, or not. It's fine. I will be here again tomorrow at between 5:15 and 5:30. Bye.